Hello and welcome to Live Talk. It is match day 2 in Vantaa, Finland, where the European mixed team competition is going on. Right now, as you can see, the players on court is Schleicher and Evgenia Kosetskaya, at least that is in the match between France and Russia, which I find is the more intriguing of the matches today. So let's just take a look at today's matches. Here we have the match between France and Russia, the team composition. The first match, as you maybe saw yesterday, another long match for Toma Junior Popov yesterday. He lost in the decider to Mark Kaljau from the Netherlands. Today he got off to a really good start against Vladimir Malkov, but Malkov fought back and forced the decider. And again, the same pattern as we saw yesterday in the decider, that Vladimir Malkov had a little bit better stamina than his opponent Toma Popov. Anyway, it's the match between two teams who won their respective team matches yesterday. Russia defeated a young English side, and France eventually came through over the Netherlands in a thriller that was only decided in the very last match. So right now on court is from France, as you can see, Schleicher. She's up against Evgenia Kosetskaya, and Schleicher is leading the head-to-head 1-0 against Kosetskaya, and she's also won the first game and are just about to take the advantage here in the second game. She's been trailing pretty much all the second game, but has caught up now, and the score is 16-all at the moment. Kosetskaya had a 11-6 lead at the interval here in the second game. Now it goes to 17-16. She's committed a lot of unforced errors, has the Russian player, but strong comeback in the second game after losing that first game. This is really crunch time. A good smash down the backhand side from Schleicher, and it's 17-all. So, important win in the first match by Vladimir Malkov. As we look down the team composition sheet here, men's doubles would definitely hold the Russians as favorites. Ivanov and Sosunov, the former All England champions, even though we saw Labar and Maillot yesterday play really well against Gille and Van der Leck. It's a different type of opposition they're facing today, so that means that it's basically a must-win match for Schleicher, who's now up 18-17. Another error on the side by Kosetskaya. In the women's doubles, favor France. They're 1-0 up head-to-head against Akhtarina and Morozova, who were the only Russians who struggled a bit yesterday against the English combination of Annie Lado and Jenny Moore. Was taken to 3 games, but won it quite convincingly in the third. Good backhand kill by Kosetskaya, and it's 18-all now. Nervy situation for the two players. Now the fifth match here in this team tie, Tom Gikel, Delphine Delray, who won the decisive match yesterday for the Netherlands, they're up against Alimov and Davletova, and contrary to what you should think, it's Alimov and Davletova who's got a clear 4-0 head-to-head lead against the French pair, the informed French pair, should I say. Kosetskaya 19-18 up, 2 points away from forcing a decider in this women's single. And another netted shot from Schleicher. The last 2 shots she's played too sharp to the net court stayed on the French side, and 2 game points for Kosetskaya. Short service. No one really wants to lift, but Kosetskaya gets on the attack. That's a great rally. Oi, what a great drop shot from Chi Shuifei. Survives the first game point here in the second game. And I guess if you're the Dutch team, you'll probably be cheering for France in this match. If France wins it, then Netherlands and Russia, they will face each other in a direct playoff tomorrow, given that Netherlands can beat England playing on the adjacent court in the Vanta Arena. So a long break here after the last rally. Seems like finally Chi Shuifei is getting ready to serve. This time a high serve. Oi, she trips Kosetskaya but managed to get it. Oi, net court, lucky net court, just Kosetskaya got it back, but eventually Chi Shuifei equals the score. It's 20 all and extra points required here in the second game. She really kept her nerves there. The Chinese-born French lady. 20 all in the second game, and 1 game up. Can equal the team tie if she wins the next 2 points. Well, good deception by Kosetskaya, but Chi Shuifei really good at the net at the moment. She's playing well now, Kosetskaya. I wonder if it's too little too late. Oh, she's chasing her opponent around court, but everything gets back and she misses it over the back line. A very good opportunity for Kosetskaya, but Chi Shuifei, give a lot of credit to her because she just kept getting everything back what Kosetskaya threw at her. And now with a match point to level the tie for France. A victory for France in this team tie would see them through to the semifinals, provided that Netherlands can beat England. Now the rally is on. And she's won it, Chi Shuifei. She's beaten Evgenia Kosetskaya for the second time. Extended the head-to-head lead to 2-0. What a fantastic effort from the French lady here. Straight game victory, and I think a little surprising, as we saw Kosetskaya in great shape recently in the World Tour Finals, where she qualified for the last 8, and yeah, she definitely had some high-level match practice, but just couldn't get it done here. And Chi Shuifei, amazing comeback after being down with 2 game points in the second game. Takes the match 21-15, 22-20. So that gives us a chance to look at the other tie between Netherlands and England. England with a young team here in Finland. Should have the mixed team championship should have been staged in Milton Keynes, so they should have been playing on home soil, but couldn't be staged in Milton Keynes due to the coronavirus situation. So Finland jumped in and said, we can be the hosts here, and And yeah, I think all the players are thankful that this championship is actually going on as scheduled. Yesterday, there's almost the only repeat selection from yesterday is Callum Hemming and Jessica Pugh in the mixed doubles. The 4 other categories are new players compared to yesterday's match. The score right now is 3-2 for the Netherlands. That's not correct, of course. It's 2-1 for the Netherlands. Mark Kaldjau started out by beating Harry Huang in straight games, and then Freya Redfern took the first match victory for England as she defeated Nadia Chowkri, the 17-year-old Dutch woman, in straight games as well. And then Ruben Gilla and Ties van der Leck revenged their performance from yesterday and defeated Matthew Clare and Gregory Mayers in 2 tight games. So 2-1 up for the Netherlands, who are the favorites in the remaining 2 matches. But I would think that the match that Freya Redfern won for England could be crucial for the Netherlands in terms of who can qualify for the semi-final stage. So a question here from Andy Stewart. He asks, how close do you think Group 2 could be at the end of the group matches? And it is Group 2 that we're watching at the moment, and I really think that Group 2 could be really, really close. It could go all the way down to counting the matches in the individual ties. If 2 or more teams are finishing with the same number of wins, it's the match between them. But if so that's not correct. If 2 matches finish with the same amount of points, it's the match between them. And if 3 or more teams finishes with the same amount of points, it's the number of matches won that is deciding who will progress to the semi-final stage. And let's take a look at the groups here. The Group 2 standings, as we're focusing a lot on that group. Russia on top with their 5-0 win against England, and that's where I feel that it could become crucial for Netherlands that they've lost this one match against England. France has got a really solid team with depth in all categories, so my expectation is that they can score a 5-0 win against England tomorrow. So that means that if Russia defeats France today, then the Netherlands must win 4-1 in tomorrow's match against Russia to progress to the semi-finals. So that's why I feel that the Netherlands might be cheering on France at the moment, because if France wins, they've finished on top of the group, all provided that England doesn't score any points in this group here. And then it would be a direct playoff between Netherlands and Russia tomorrow. And I feel that the Netherlands has a team that definitely can challenge the Russians. So we're still waiting to get Ivanov and Sosunov on court. Waiting to get clearance in Finland. Ivanov and Sosunov up against Labar and Maya. could be a really interesting match in my opinion. We saw yesterday that Labar and Mayo, they were relentless in their attacks when they played Ruben Gille and Thies van der Lek. So looking much forward to that match, but in the meantime let's take a look at what happened in the other matches yesterday and follow up a little bit on the situation from the match between Netherlands and France, the very exciting match yesterday. So here we have the final result of that match. It started out with Mark Kalja defeating Toma Popov in a grueling match, and Chi Shufei quickly equalizing the score in the tie to 1-1. And then in the men's doubles, it was really tight all along in the first game at 16-all, or 17-16 actually. Julien Maillot, he played a really brilliant serve towards the sideline that the Dutch pair thought was out, but was called in, and from then on it was basically Labar and Maillot in the driver's seat. Gille and van der Lek, they never really came back after that. Little sister Deborah Gille did her duty with Cheryl Sainen and equalized after beating Emilie Lefend and Anne Tran. A fairly convincing win for the two Dutch players, where Cheryl Sainen basically plays with two different partners in women's doubles. She's challenging for Olympic qualification in the combination with Selena Peak, and some of the other tournaments she plays with Deborah Gille. So it was 2-2 before the last match, and Tom Gikel and Delphine Delray, who's been playing so brilliantly as of late, they struck first in the mixed doubles and took the first game, but a strong comeback by Peak and Tabeling in the second saw the match go to a decider, and the decider just went back and forth, as dramatic and thrilling as you would expect. The Dutch pair won a rally whilst behind 12-15, where Selena Peak was sort of rolling around on the floor, and Robin Tabeling saving points, and they came back in a good way. Peak and Tabeling got a little bit ahead, 1 point ahead in the third game, before eventually broken string in Robin Tabeling's racket gave a match point for Gikel and Delray, and on the first chance, on the second chance, they took the match and the team tie. Very important win for France. 3-2 against the Netherlands. The French team has never taken a medal yet in the mixed team championship. So we got the men double with Labar and Maillot against Ivanov and Sosno. We got it underway. Early stages of the first game, and 4-3 for Maillot and Labar. We heard in some of the comments from yesterday that the players found that the playing conditions were a little bit slow here in Finland. Long matches in the men's singles with Toma Popov yesterday against Mark Kalja, today against Vladimir Malkov, and seemed like Popov ran out of steam towards the end. It could also be nervousness. It's not so easy to be the first player on court for your country. It's a big responsibility, and the ones who hasn't tried it, they sometimes underestimate what it takes to go in there and try to give your team a good start. Fantastic interception by Julien Maillot, jumping interception at the net, and 6-4 for Labar and Maillot. Of course, Ivanov and Sosunov, very, very experienced, but also a pair that can sort of go off the boil if they get a little bit annoyed with themselves or each other or the circumstances in the hole. Sosunov just looking at the lights in the arena here after missing a smash opportunity from the backcourt. The left-hander played it exactly in the middle of the net. So 7-4 for Labar and Maillot. Could they have found something in that combination? Labar and Maillot only played 4 matches together before these championships, at least 4 international matches. That was back in 2016 in the men's team championship. So I would say that in the women's doubles following this match here, I hold Emilie Lefel and Tran as favorites against Morozova and Akhtarina, and I would expect Sosunov and Ivanov to feel the same way. So that puts a little bit extra pressure on them, because they have to win this match then to stay in the team tie and leave the decider to the mixed doubles, where they have a good head-to-head against Gikel and Del Rey. So in the other match yesterday, we can see that Russia defeated England fairly easy, 5-0, only losing the first game in the women's doubles with Akhtarina and Morozova, who is taking the responsibility in women's doubles after Katarina Bolotova is out. She's pregnant at the moment, normally plays with Alina Davletova, and probably the first choice if she was totally fit. But a good 5-0 win to have in the bag for Russia, and that means that even with a 3-2 loss to France eventually today, they would still be in it. Could win the last match against the Netherlands, and should they win today, they're in a very, very good shape before tomorrow's match against the Netherlands. So in the other group, Group 1, the defending champions Denmark took on Finland, the hosts, in their first match, and Andy Stewart has asked again, what are your thoughts on the two Finland young players, Joachim Oldorf and Nella Nyqvist? And yeah, it's interesting to see these players, and I feel it's a brave choice by the Finnish team management to let them play and get some experience against Denmark. It's of course an opportunity for them to play Joachim Oldorf playing against the All England champion Victor Axelsen. Might take some time before he gets another chance to do that. But it's really too early to judge how good they are. There's a saying in tennis, or at least I've heard it from tennis, that don't confuse early results with talent. Meaning that if you practice a lot whilst you're young, then you will eventually get results. But what happens when other players starts catching up on the time you spent in the arena? I thought though that they did well, the two youngsters from Finland, and I'm not saying that they're only creating results because they're practicing a lot. We've seen both of them do well in the under 19 championship, but there's a long way to go yet, and we could see it especially in the women's singles, where the physical difference between Line Kristoffersen, the Danish champion, and former world junior silver medalist, and Nella Nyqvist was just it was obvious. So an easy win for the defending champions, and afterwards assistant coach Jakob Høj, he said that he would have wished that Finland would have fielded some of their better players instead of some of the youngsters, so that the Danes could have gotten a little bit extra challenge in the arena. But that's always difficult to get to decide how your opponents are going to line up, and I think there might be more surprises for Denmark and Jakob Høj perhaps in the lineup tonight, where Denmark is facing Germany in a repeat of the final 2 years ago back home in Copenhagen. I wouldn't be surprised if Germany chooses not to field their presumed best lineup against the Danes. Both teams look in good shape to qualify for the semifinals, where they can meet again. There's a 50-50 chance that you will play the same team that you played in the group stage in the semifinal. That's a speciality for badminton. Mostly you see that the winner of one group plays the second finisher of the other group, and vice versa. But for special reasons, badminton has chosen to put a draw there, so you don't really know in advance who you're playing. Or if you win the group, you know that you're not playing the winner of the other group, but you could play either of the two second finishers. In the other match in that group, Scotland lost 1-4 to the Visa European Mixed Team Champions, and that was perhaps not so surprising, but was really surprising was that Joshua Apiliga was able to beat Max Weiskirch in 21-17, 21-12. That was the surprise of the day in my opinion, and I must say that Weiskirch, he looked like he got the wrong leg out of the bed, or I don't know if that Danish saying is directly translatable to English. I just did anyway. So he I don't know what he looked like, Max Weiskirch, and it wasn't good. That's for certain. And I would be surprised if he plays again tonight against Denmark. Weiskirchen, we saw him in Salo Lux Open, where he beat Rasmus Gemke just after Gemke had reached the final of the Denmark Super 750. So we know that he can play, but apparently he didn't bring his game to court, or it was his evil twin yesterday. It was not pretty to watch on that court. Apart from that, fairly easy win for the German team, who's without Linda Effler in the women's doubles. She was replaced by Kilaso Ostermeier, and no problems for her and Isabel Hertrich in winning that women's doubles match. But I would be surprised to see Hertrich play two matches tonight against Denmark. I would also be surprised to see Mark Lamsfoss play two matches. Whether Anne-Katrin Spørge will get the chance to play instead of Yvonne Lee, I'm not really certain about how the German team management would think about that, but I would think that it was a possibility. So men's double is at 16-14 for Labar and Maillot. They're continuing the good play we saw yesterday. And in the meantime, Deborah Gille and Cheryl Sainen in the other match, the match between Netherlands and England, they've secured the team tie for the Netherlands. They're up 3-1 after Gille and Sainen won in straight games, 21-15, 21-14 against Lizzie Tolman and Victoria Williams. So that means that nothing is going to be decided in this Group 2 before the matches tomorrow, no matter of the result between France and Russia today. Netherlands will have a chance. It will be a tough task for them. They have to beat Russia. The question is if they can manage with a 3-2 win, or they have to win even bigger to secure a spot in the semi-final. So Labar and Sosunov still up, 18-16 now. Even Sosunov with the serve, and this really is crunch time for the Russians if they want to get off to a good start here. Again, like we saw yesterday, Julien Maillot doing a really good job. Labar is holding the net, and Maillot is really fast on his feet, moving around him, putting pressure on the Russians. So 19-16 now. It's always one of the intriguing things about team tournaments that suddenly a good pairing can turn up, more willing to experiment than in normal tournaments where you are depending on the rankings to get into tournaments and so on. So it's very rarely we see a lot of experiments in terms of partnerships, and now 3 game points for Maillot and Sosunov here. It's very encouraging for the French team, and we're actually seeing some very good men's doubles play. For men's doubles, it's actually almost a guarantee for better matches if the playing conditions are a little bit slow. And here they take it 21-17. The first game to Labar and Maillot proves that it was definitely no coincidence that they won yesterday in the match against the Netherlands, against Ruben Gille and Thies van der Lek. So time to get the coaches in for some advice. Always important to sort of get a little bit of time to get maybe 15-20 seconds just to cool down in those 2-minute period. I mean, it's very rarely that things have gone so wrong that that you have to use all of the 2 minutes. Very often the coaches sometimes leave the players ahead of the interval is up, and I feel that time is often well used in the beginning to just let the players sort of catch their breath after finishing a game. But must be a very positive interval for Baptiste Carême, the French coach, and Labar and Maillot. Really well played by the two Frenchmen who are in red and black here today. That normally I was of the perception that all French national teams played in blue colors. So the second game underway. Heard from Tom Gikel yesterday in one of the interviews on Badminton Europe's page. You can stream the matches. All the matches are available on BadmintonEurope.tv, and a very, very good service. And they also do excellent interviews with the players after the matches. It's very, very helpful in sort of promoting the sport, that we can hear what their thoughts were after they finish a match. And Tom Gikel mentioned that he was very confident in his defense against Selena Peak and Robin Taberlin, because he felt that they played the side where it was a little bit easier to play defense. There's one side that's a little bit faster, one side that's a little bit slower. I have to admit that I haven't been able to really tell the difference yet so far, but it's often more distinct with faster shuttles, but with the a little bit slower shuttles here, it's more difficult to figure out whether there's some drift alongside the court. So 3-1 for Ivanov and Sosunov here. Good service return by Ronan Labar. So the lineup for today's match is just for tonight's match between Denmark and Germany has just come in, and we can see that Denmark is playing Victor Axelsen once again. Mia Blichfeldt plays her first match in this championship. They're sticking to Mads Piller Kolding and Anders Rasmussen in the men's doubles, are the Danes, and that suggests to me that Kim Astrup perhaps is a little bit ill. In the women's doubles, we saw yesterday we saw Freja Ravn and Amalie Malon play against Finland, but today they've fielded Maiken Fruergaard, who is without Sarah Thyssen in these championships, because she's still suffering from that shuttle. She was hit in the eye by in Toyota Thailand Open. So Maiken Fruergaard without her regular partner, but partnering Alexandra Boye here. And then in the mixed doubles, the second Danish mixed double, Niklas Nord and Amalie Malon. So no one plays two matches for the Danes, and pretty much as predicted with the German team. Fabian Roth gets the chance in the men's singles. He's actually beaten Victor Axelsen once before. I can't remember exactly when, but if we look at the he's one up against Victor Axelsen in the head-to-head. There's not that many who is one up, and that was back in 2017 in the mixed team championship. So Mark Lamsfus, Marvin Seidel still in the men's doubles, and Isabel Hertrich in women's doubles, this time with Stine Kuschbart as Linda Effler is not there, and then the mixed doubles, the regular combination of Jones, Ralphie, Jansen and Kila Ostermeier. So really not that surprising. The only thing that I think is a little surprising is that Kim Astrup is not playing for Denmark. It's a little bit worrying as well that he's not playing, and also it might be a chance to give Mads Kolding some match practice. It's been a long while since Mads Kolding has played. Anders Rasmussen and Kim Astrup, they were after all part of the Yonex Thailand Open and Toyota Thailand Open. Lost 2 very good matches, but unfortunately for the Danes, both matches were in the first round. So 7-4 in the second game here for Ivanov and Sosunov. Seems like they have replied to the challenge from Labar and Maillot, and it's often the case that when you, as a regular combination, play a pair that you haven't played before, because it is a scratch pair, then you're a little bit in the dark as to how to play them and where you can sort of get your strength through. Also what you need to worry about, and scratch combinations, they often have this extra little motivation. You're willing to run an extra meter for your partner, you're willing to throw yourself one extra time, fight a little bit extra, and I wish that all the regular combinations would keep the same mindset as when they're playing with a new partner. Also important, there's so many ways where you can sort of improve your mindset. Hopefully everybody knows the tournament, the feeling of coming home from a tournament, having made a good performance, and you're really eager to get out and play and practice. And I suppose also a lot of the opposite feeling, where you come home from a tournament and it hasn't really gone your way, and you're a little bit down, you're a little bit sad. Practice is hard. Now, if you can switch and take the same mindset from the times where you have played well, where you perhaps have won tournaments, won matches, made good results, and implement them in the training, even when things are not going well, then there's a good chance that you can succeed as a badminton player. 10-7 in the second game. So they're staying within striking distance, Labar and Maillot. Oh, that's well in. Vladimir Ivanov, I thought the lift from Maillot was going long. That was not at all the case. 8-10. A mistake from Sosunov. He always hangs a little bit with the head when he's made a mistake. Ivan Sosunov sort of like goes down, much like Lee Chong-wei when he was under pressure, which was not that often, but sometimes against Lin Dan he was under pressure here, as the Russians go to the interval 11-9 up. So here in the interval, we could take a look at the lineup in the second match tonight. Scotland against Finland. That is probably the playoff for the third place in Group 1. I have difficulties seeing Scotland beat Denmark or Finland beat Germany. So the winner from yesterday, Joshua Apilika, he has not been selected for this match. It's Char Pringle, who's up against Kari Koljonen, the currently best Finnish player. But interesting that Nella Nyqvist, the 14-year-old, she's She's been reselected to play the women's singles, so she's getting some exposure here on home soil up against Holly Newell. Adam Holen, Christopher Grimley in the men's doubles, just like yesterday, against Eetu Haino and Anton Kaisti. Kaisti, experienced doubles player, whereas Eetu Haino is a very good singles player as well. Women's doubles, same combinations as played yesterday, and in the mixed, Anton Kaisti in with Ina-Lotta Sutarinen, who yesterday played with Jesper Pohl, Christopher Grimley and Eleanor O'Donnell for the Scots. So that should be an interesting match as well. 12-10 for 12-11 for Ivanov and Sosunov. That's well played. Ivanov making his presence felt, good service return and follow up on the other side of the net. Semi-finals here in Finland on Friday. Last group matches tomorrow. Same playing times as today. 13 local time and 18 local time. Good defense by Ivanov and Sosunov. $14-11 now. This seems like an important gap for the Russians. Three points at this stage is actually a lot. And 15-11. This time he was right. Vladimir Ivanov lift from La Barre and Maillot gone long, and 16-11. 17. Really trying to make them ready to serve. Couple of quick points for La Barre and Maillot. It's now or never in this second game. They've got one game up, one game in the bank, so that's nice for them. But if they want to finish this off in straight games, it's now they need to score some points. That is wide of the right sideline, the cross flat from Maillot. So the Russians 3 points away from taking this second game and forcing a decider. gone long from Sosunov. He's always a little bit hard on himself when he makes mistakes, and if he isn't hard on himself, then perhaps Ivanov will be. But I think it's really important as the primary net player that he maintains his self-confidence, left-handed Russian. When you play that position, you simply just make a bit more mistakes than when you're preferring to play on the back court. Things happen a bit faster on the front of the court. So 15-19, let's just follow the conclusion of this second game here. Fantastic defense from the Russians. And now 5 game points for Ivanov, and Sosunov used all their knowledge, all their experience to come back here in this second game, and they've managed to stay ahead pretty much all the way. That's a good service return from Mayo, just a little touch to the mid-court area. World's best service return, in my opinion, in doubles disciplines. And another good one for Ivan Sosunov, and Ivanov, they have leveled the score in this match, 1-all, and we're in for a third and decisive game. So whilst we're waiting for that game, let's take a look at some of the news from around the world. You can see from India, and the Times of India says that the PV Sindhu and other Olympic hopefuls are going to train at the Gachibowli Indoor Stadium. Gachibowli Indoor Stadium is in Hyderabad, where the 2009 World Championship was played. And what the story is there, that the national coach Purula Gopachand, he's got 2 academies in Hyderabad, but the Olympic players and PV Sindhu, they would like to practice in the Gachibowli Indoor Stadium because it's a bigger stadium, and it's nice to practice in those stadiums, practice as you play. And I can only concur that when you have players that are playing international tournaments in big arenas, it's really good if you can get them to practice in large venues as well. There's a chance of creating some drift. As I remember, Gachibowli Stadium, it's very, very drifty, and it's also further to the walls or the spectator seats, whatever it is. So it's just a different experience. So very good idea to practice in big venues if you can. Mostly they're very expensive to rent, at least the ones in Denmark where we practiced. Lucky to practice in a big arena in the Brøndby Hall, where the World Championships have been hosted several times. That's where the Danish national team is practicing. So they are already in a big arena. Then there's news that the Portuguese International Championships, it has been moved, so it's now from 6th to 9th May, and that means that it's still an Olympic qualifying tournaments. Right now, the last tournament on the Olympic qualifier is India Open the week after Portugal, so by moving to that spot, it stays on as an Olympic qualifier. That's not the case for the Vietnam International Challenge. It has now moved out of the, or at least the time frame there is right now for the Olympic qualification tournament. But there is concerns about the Olympic qualifications, especially from the players' side, of course, and especially the players who need to make good results to qualify, that are not at the moment inside the chosen few that gets to go to Tokyo in late July. One of them is Tan Wee Kyung, and he has been to the Olympics previously. As you know, he's Olympic silver medalist in men's double, and he hopes that the International Badminton World Federation, that they can make some changes or clarifications to the Olympic calendar now that German Open has been cancelled. He says it's also a bit in the dark what the players from Asia that have entered Swiss Open and hope to enter or have entered All England Open, what they're going to do in the week between these two tournaments. Is there anywhere in Europe where they can practice? Can they be hosted amidst the coronavirus pandemic? And from CNN Indonesia, there's the news that the Indonesian players going for All England might actually get a vaccination. They might, I don't know if you can skip the line, but they might be prioritized by the Indonesian government and the sports ministry in terms of getting a vaccine before the trip to Europe. They were in line of sports people with the Indonesian basketball team, but the basketball qualifier was cancelled for now. So badminton is in line. Indonesian badminton and the players participating at the All England might be in line for vaccination. And then from Malaysia, New Straits Times, there's news that the movement control order, the lockdown that has been going on in so many countries and also in Malaysia, is prolonged. So the extension of that movement control order could make Malaysia Open, which is an Olympic qualifier, doubtful. So Ivanov and Sosunov, they've gone up 8-4 here in the decider. Looks to continue on the good run from the second game. Oi! String gone in Ivanov's racket, but he was really quick on his feet and changed it to a new one. That was a powerful racket he changed to. His smash following the change set up the kill for Ivan Sosunov. So before closing this hour of live talk, let's take a look at the tournament calendar for the next 3 months. The red line here indicating that this is the current deadline for the Olympic qualification. India Open is the last tournament that counts There's some tournaments. The tournaments that I've highlighted in bold is the ones that, in my opinion, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I mean, I will take no responsibility if there's if I've missed a tournament. But the tournament in bold are the tournaments that count towards Olympic qualifications, and they've been fewer and fewer. It was tournaments that were not played last year, back in 2020, and now have been rescheduled. But as you can see, Yonex All England is not a part of the Olympic qualification tournament this year. It was last year, so it's the points from the 2020 All England that will count towards the Olympic qualification. So there's not a whole lot of tournaments left. Orléans Masters is a Super 100 the week after All England in Orléans. Prospectus is out, and I would expect a lot of players to enter that tournament. Polish Open in the same week is also still on. So the tournaments in question is the two Malaysia tournaments, Malaysia Open, and let me say that they are still on, unless something has happened within the last hour. But they are still on. But the Malaysian newspapers are speculating that they could be postponed, and that maybe it could be possible to find a date so that they could still count as Olympic qualifiers. But there really isn't that many opportunities, as you can see in the calendar. It could be perhaps a possibility of extending the Olympic qualifying period. I don't know if that's possible at all. I have no idea. I have no insight in it. I'm just thinking loud, more or less. Sudirman Cup is still on the schedule in May, from 23rd to 30th of May in Suzhou, and I don't know if that's going to go through. And Spain Masters has also been relocated to new dates in week 20. So I don't know if there's possibilities of extending the qualification period, because it's not just badminton. There's also a lot of logistics about the Olympics in terms of getting the right papers, and I mean it's a huge organization, the Olympics, more than 10,000 athletes, and it's not something that's just done overnight. So there's certain time limits that is final in terms of being accredited and ready to go to Tokyo. So I don't think that the options are numerous in terms of rescheduling tournaments. But otherwise, Singapore Open coming up, and then of course in week 17 the very, very important continental individual championships. That's really, really important, and for the European players, I know that they've been looking forward to going to Kiev for a long, long time. It was supposed to be the final qualifying tournament back in 2020, but of course what happened in terms of coronavirus. So now the final tournament is the India Open Super 500, to be played in week 19, presumably in Delhi. So let's go now. 13-10 for Ivanov and Sosonov, but the time is up here for today's live talk, and I still think that this match between France and Russia is going to be a fantastic matchup tonight. There's a rematch of the final in the mixed team championship 2 years ago, Germany and Denmark. Even if the lineups are not 100%, there's a lot of good badminton to be seen there. So this is all for now, as I'm gonna sit back and watch the conclusion of this men's doubles. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Bye for now.